is My Name is Tiga, podcast edition number 3. This is the kind of mood I'm in today. First song, This Is the Day, by a great band, The.
Well, you didn't wake up this morning cause you didn't go to bed. You were watching the whites of your eyes turn red. The calendar on your wall is ticking the days off. You've been reading some old letters. You smile and think how much you've changed. All the money in the world couldn't buy back those days. You pull back the curtains and the sun burns into your eyes. You watch a plane flying across a clear blue sky. This is the day your life will surely change. This is the day when things fall into place. Your friends and family think that you're lucky, but the side of you they'll never see is when you're left alone with the memories that hold your life together like glue. Sun burns into your eyes. You watch a plane flying across a clear blue sky. This is the day your life will surely change. This is the day when things fall into place. Getting into the podcast groove. I got my main man Thomas Von Party here on vinyl. He's on vinyl release duty. So let me tell everyone here a little bit about what's going on. And while I do that, Thomas, release. Okay, so this is how it works. This is podcast number 3B. Actually, podcast number 3 was aborted for a reason that almost aborted this one. We're having trouble finding good studios with professional environments. Whoa, that's loud. Anyway, I'm going to get into all the details of that later. I hope you enjoy the podcast. I'm going to start to try to cheer up gradually. And this is a track off a new Cocoon compilation by an artist called My. That's it.
don't even have the energy to make podcast jokes tonight. Okay, that was My track called Fast Freeze on the latest compilation from Cocoon Records. That is Sven Väth's label. So, I'm going to try to pick up my vibe starting now. Podcast 3B. My name is Tiga. Let me tell you a little story about Cocoon Records. That is Sven Väth's label, as I just said. We did a turbo party in Barcelona as part of the Sonar thing, well, unofficially, at the Razzmatazz Club. And the next night, Sven Väth was doing, I guess, a Cocoon party, or he was playing himself. And he is awesome. I want to be publicly on record as saying Sven is a hero. Not always in love with every track he plays, and I know, some people out there probably think he's, just a trance DJ, but he is more man than most of you will ever be. And I'd like to give a shout out, the first of many shout outs tonight, to Oliver Interactive, codename Next, who is my manager, but I think he really felt a special bond with Sven, and I saw something magical happen that night. And that's the kind of thing that Sven does. He brings out, whoa, my hat just got stuck on the mic stand. He brings out the magic in any evening. So, this podcast, like all the others, I think it's going to start off a little slow. We have some studio problems. We always try to make things a little bit more official by leaving the basement, and somehow we seem to take steps backwards each time. It's a very sensitive mic, by the way, so I apologize for any kind of little clicks and stuff. This will probably be the only podcast of the summer. I'm going to try not to talk too much, but I do have things on my mind and things I want to say. First of all, I've been really, really pleasantly surprised by the reaction of the podcast. A lot of, I guess, pod fans out there who are saying they're enjoying it and they want more. So here we go. This is more. Got a lot of good music lined up for you tonight. Had an interview with Martin Rushent, a very, very influential, incredible producer behind the Human League, Pete Shelley, and a lot of other important kind of 80s dance acts, but a few technical glitches. We're gonna try to get it for you later in some form or another. If not, at the worst, it'll be in podcast 4. That's a direct reaction to all the punks out there who said I only interview friends. So this guy is not a friend of mine, and he is a real producer musician. So make of that what you will. Somebody who is both a friend and a producer is named Jori Hulkkonen. Most of you probably have heard of him. He was my partner in Sunglasses at Night. He's done records for Turbo. He's done amazing albums for FCOM. He plays digital saxophone. He dresses up in Star Trek clothes. He's a bit of a nutcase, crazy genius, makes some really bad music and some really good music. And when he gets it right, he really gets it right. And here is a case, I'm proud to say, where he nailed it. This is the Jori Hulkkonen remix of Chromeo, a band on Turbo, they're doing amazingly well right now with their new album. Great album, and they're touring all summer. You should catch them if you can. Amazing show. This is their next single, Bonafied Lovin, remixed by Jori Hulkkonen. This is, if not my favorite track of the moment, my second favorite track, or maybe third favorite track, but it is amazing. And here it is as I fade it up. Fade up. Podcast style. Oh, lame. Bonafied Lovin by the one and only Chromeo, remixed by Jori Hulkkonen, the Finnish Flash. You're listening to, my name is Tiga, this is podcast 3B. This one will probably have to last you most of the summer because I'm doing some pretty extensive touring. Turbo's on the road, I'm on the road. If you get a chance anywhere in Europe to catch one of the Turbo Europa shows, you definitely should. We started off in Barcelona and Berlin. Massive successes. Lineups outside, people going crazy. You gotta catch Proxy live. Mind blowing. And yeah, so this will probably be the only podcast for the summer. I have something very important to say. I should have said it right at the beginning of the show, but I was a little bit disorganized and a little bit pissed off because of technical mistakes. But this show is dedicated to someone. It's the first time I've dedicated a podcast to anybody. This podcast is dedicated to Nagi Noda. She is an incredible artist, an incredible person, and a very, very talented video director working in Tokyo. She did my Far From Home video. She's done well, she's done all kinds of videos, including for the Scissor Sisters, the one with the shadow puppets and everything. Anyway, she's a good friend of all of ours, and she was in a horrible car accident in Tokyo about a month ago. And she's in hospital. She's recovering. She will be fine. Everything's going to be amazing. But we all wanted to send our love out to her. And she's just really a special person and incredibly talented. And, well, it's painful for everyone to think about it. And we've been having it's hard to get things to the hospital in Tokyo. I think they have like quarantine rules or something. I don't know. But so we can send out a podcast that will work. This isn't totally a dedication like related to Naginata, but the song is called Things That Dreams Are Made Of. I guess you could tie that in somehow. It is a classic done by Human League. Hard to imagine it's already 25 years ago. This is part of my Martin Rushent special without Martin Rushent. So this was always my favorite Human League song, Things That Dreams Are Made Of. There was an incredible dub of it called a Russian dub, which still works on the dance floor, kind of electro-y. Recently, I got asked to remix it, and I was honored to take the opportunity to make it worse. So that's what you have here. This is my remix, world debut, Tiga remix of Human League, Things That Dreams Are Made Of. It's not worse necessarily, but well, it's not better. But anyway, maybe you'll enjoy it. I like it. Here you go. Podcast.
Take time to see the wonders of the world, to see the things you've only ever heard of. Dream life the way you think it ought to be. See things you thought you'd never ever see. Take a cruise to China or a train to Spain. Go round the world again and again. Meet a girl on a boat, meet a boy on a train, and fall in love without the pain.
Everybody needs love and adventure. Everybody needs love and affection.
a Human League, remixed by me, The Things That Dreams Are Made Of. And that should be out very, very soon in the UK. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy, Martin Rushent, in case the interview does happen. It should happen. It will happen. He was part of the Human League and an extremely talented producer. He actually even engineered for T-Rex and stuff at the end of the 70s. And in the early 80s, I guess he's one of the people really responsible for kind of the fusion of pop and dance and electronic, but done in the way that we now appreciate stuff, kind of pop, dance, electronic masterpieces. Things like Dare by the Human League are happened on his watch. Now, some of his lesser known material, specifically, one of the songs I'm going to play right now, were massively influential for me, just because I think they were some of the first records I heard, which I guess they were hard in the sense that it wasn't like fluffy bubblegum pop, not as much as something like Don't You Want Me. Still, it had a pop sensibility, had a certain kind of attitude to it, and it had quite a bit of there were instrumental mixes, there was some space to it. Now the track I'm talking about is called Homo Sapien by an artist, Pete Shelley, who was also a singer and founder of the Buzzcocks, who I actually don't know anything about. I just know about Pete Shelley, which I think was kind of his girly side project. But this track is in a lot of ways a prototype for what I do, definitely, and for what a lot of other people that I know do, just because it's 82, I think, and if you hear the synths and you hear the drums and mixed with the vocals and how it all kind of sits together, it is, it's just prototypical, the prototype. So this is Pete Shelley with Homo Sapien from 82, released, I believe, on Martin Rushent's own label, Genetic. And I hope you enjoy it. Podcast 3B.
Telephone operator, why can't I see you later? Telephone operator, why can't I see you later? Tell me, is it wine?
Bam. That was Telephone Operator by Pete Shelley. You're listening to My Name is Tiga. And this is another new remix I've made. No big introduction. I love it. It's one of my favorite things I've done in years. Remix of Your Mangled Heart by The Gossip. World premiere. Start recording now.
If everything you do has got a hold on me, then everything I do has got a hole in it. I've been here before, I should be used to it, but I can't take it no more, I can't take it no more. Oh, 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 oh. Your mangled heart, you're fading up, that's hanging on to memories. You're letting go of everything that used to be. I've had enough, you build me up to let me down, yeah. If everything I do has got a hole in it, then everything you do has got a hold on me. I've been here before, I should be used to it, but I can't take it no more, I can't take it no more. Ooh, oh, your mangled heart, you're fading up, that's hanging on to memories. You're letting go of everything that used to be. I've had enough, you build me up to let me down. Ooh, your mangled heart, you're fading up, that's hanging on to memories. You're letting go of everything that used to be. I've had enough, you build me up to let me down, yeah.
That was the Gossip, my remix, the Tiga remix of Your Mangled Heart. I don't know much about Gossip, but I love that girl's voice, and I heard they're from Arkansas, and I think they're managed by this guy Gil, who I kind of know. Okay, we're going to take a little break to talk about some stuff. First of all, it's been several months, I guess, since Sexor. I haven't really done so much music. It's been a few little bits and pieces here and there. And in the past few months, I've gotten a lot of stuff done. I got a bunch of remixes and some new tracks. I already played the Human League. There's a Gossip. There's a New Young Pony Club one that's probably my favorite of the bunch, that is extremely effective on the dance floor, if I do say so myself. And it's actually ends in a bit of a duet. It's really, really good. I'm really happy about it. But there's one track that's making a little bit more of a commotion than the others. This one is something I did with Zombie Nation, a friend of mine, in Munich. Spent a couple of days in Munich, and we screwed around in his studio, and we came up with a track called, at first it was codename Insect Attitude, and it gradually morphed into this. Track is called Lower State of Consciousness, and we're not 100% settled yet on the artist name. There's a few different theories bumping around. Could be Tiga versus Zombie Nation, could be Zombie Nation und Tiga. It could be ZZT. You might have seen it or heard or whatever under any of these forms, but it's a big one. It's a really cool one. And this is the first time it's ever been played on any kind of official radio podcast. So this is Lower State of Consciousness. And I might talk over it a little bit or do some little things in the middle so that it's not recorded and bootlegged, because Zombie would be very upset. That's my voice right there going. Ready? I'll do it live. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Talk over that part. That's a loop waiting to happen. Boom, 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 boom. By the way, we're broadcasting from Montreal, where it was 36 degrees today and extremely humid. Yeah. That's right. I have to just keep talking during this break. Track's gonna drop next week. Well, that's the 2nd of July on UKW Records. And then it's gonna come out on Turbo Recordings. It's gonna be a big one. don't miss out. Sorry about all this talking. Big 909 ride. I'm happy. It's coming after this. Here. It's gonna be coming out partially on UKW, only 500 limited edition copies, hand numbered by Zombie himself, I think. And it'll come out soon after. It's gonna come out at the beginning of August on Turbo Recordings. Anyway, we're really, really proud of that one. Sorry about all the talking. I know that's incredibly aggravating, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it, but our management legal team has advised us to do that. Stutter. Okay, things were getting a little bit frantic here with that insect vibe, and it's very, very warm in the studio, and nothing cools me down like disco. There's a lot of really, really good disco lately. I think, well, there was a lot of good Italo stuff originally, and then all through the kind of electro revolution of the past 5 years, a lot of that got absorbed and reinterpreted, and out of that, I think now, some amazing artists have emerged, people who really seem to have it down. The Norwegians, Prince Thomas and Lindstrom, seem to be the masters of it, or they never really seem to screw up. Another master is Black Devil Disco Club. Thomas Von Party, it's two guys, right? Two guys, and they're French. Two French guys named Black Devil Disco Club. This record, there's a whole bunch of controversy about it, or controversy. I've heard different things. I think the story goes that it's a record originally from the late 70s, an Italian record. It was an album that kind of got released and then lost and then rediscovered by Reflex, British label associated with Aphex Twin. That was a few years back. Got released to massive acclaim, and then since then, now recently, they've done an album, and they seem to be kind of back on the scene. We here at Turbo are so in love with their sound that we've booked them. They'll be playing our Paris edition of the Turbo Europa show, and I believe they're touring as well during the summer. You should definitely catch them. Amazing, like disco masters. What we have here is a track called On Just Foot, and this is the Prince Thomas remix. So you have Prince Thomas, Master, Black Devil, Masters, together, an unstoppable package of disco glory. Some of these disco tracks are a little bit long, and I don't really mix on the podcast, so, just bear with me. Sit back and relax as we close out the first hour of podcast 3B broadcast from sunny Montreal. I was just telling Von Party that if I went to a party and this song was playing for like 6 hours, I wouldn't be disappointed. I'd be relieved, and I'd just start dancing. Bam!